Thank you for joining me today for Real Estate Religion and You. My name is Sylvia Black, owner of Affordable Homes and Apartments. And today we're going to be talking a little bit more about Region 1. Buy a home with your Section 8 Homeownership Voucher, Region 1. And Region 1 covers Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. That's Connecticut, Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Okay, Region 1, 2, and 3 are complete. Region 4 is a works in progress, and there's 10 regions altogether, so all 10 regions will be available for you shortly. There's a generic book that has the basic general information if you're interested in getting that, and the websites are at the bottom of your screen where you can get copies of these books that are available. Okay, now last time we were talking about some of the qualifications. Okay. Okay, and I believe education, we're talking about home buyer education. Okay. We were talking about home buyer education. Now the family must, this book is available on the websites at the bottom of your screen, okay? If you need help with meeting your home ownership and other expenses, there is a program that may be able to help you. It's called the Section 8 Homeownership Voucher Program. Okay, if you've been on Section 8 and Section 8 has been paying your rent for at least 12 months, you may qualify for a Section 8 Homeownership Voucher. Now the Housing Choice Voucher, which pays your rent, normally would cover the rent for the apartment or the house or the dwelling that you rent. And generally it pays up to 70%, okay, of the rent already. And the home ownership voucher would pay the same percentage, which should pay. That's been what I have read, okay? Now, like I said, this book is basically for informational purposes only. Okay, I don't qualify you, I don't disqualify you for the program. I lead you to the people who are the experts in the program. I give you names, phone numbers, addresses, at websites of as many people that I have located and talked to in reference to who is affiliated with the program or who you should talk to move ahead. Now, your graduation certificate will end up being your voucher, your home ownership voucher. Okay. Okay. Now, say for example that if you rented a home that I had available, okay, and you would be renting it for the purposes of getting your home ownership voucher and purchasing the home within a 12-month period. Now, the process is not going to be overnight. Okay. Don't think that you're going to move into a dwelling on Monday or the first of the month, and then by the first of the following month you're going to have your voucher and you'll be ready to buy your house. No. It's a process, okay? It's several steps that you have to go through, okay? And I believe that, more people need to be involved in it. There are cities, if you're living in a city, okay, that you feel that is being neglected in terms of good housing, I need you to contact me so that I can target that area, those individuals in those organizations, and I can I can come there and I can talk to a lot of the tenants that are there and get you informed. See, an educated consumer is my best customer. So you're the best one to be able to find out about it because you're the one who lives there. And the more people who know about the program, the more that the organization will be interested to participate in. Now, what happens is when you rent an apartment or house from me, it would be a house that I would rent, because it would be anticipated that you would buy the house within 12 months. Okay, and I say 12 months, within a year, give or take, because we're going to help you with certain things as well as you going to these other organizations and you're getting free assistance. And you're going to be my tenant, so the cost for a lot of these services are either going to be very, very low or no cost at all. Now, what happens is will be an integral part of you getting your voucher, because I will know you as a tenant personally. So, okay, so this is to get you ready. Now you straighten up your act now. Now it's time to straighten your act up. If you've been a lousy tenant in the past, if you've got the kind of tenant that makes noise and do what you want to do, and you just, violate a whole lot of stuff, and you keep the apartment sloppy or what have you, now it's time for you to get your act together so that you can now become a model tenant. Because me knowing you as a tenant, when I get a recommendation, I will submit your name for a homeownership voucher. But when I get a recommendation that I'll be giving, it's going to be the truth. I'm not going to lie for you. Okay, and that's the way it is for any organization that where you rent from. Okay, if you rent from, they're going to be the one that's going to be an integral part of you getting your voucher. So don't think that you can live here and whatnot and you can escape the nonsense that you've been, a trifling tenant, and then you turn around and get a house. Why? Because you have to take care of that house. You ain't going to have no landlord to call up to say, I need you to come and fix this and fix that. Okay, and your mortgage is not going to always be due on the 1st. It may be due on the 15th. Okay, there's going to be things that you're going to have to know. You're going to have to be educated, and that's what we do. We prepare you for that, and we refer you out to other people who can also prepare you. So it's a process. So you come home from work, you ain't going to be able to get right into bed. You're going to have to go to a class. Okay, you're going to have to commit yourself. On Saturday, you're not going to be able to go out to a restaurant all the time. You're going to have to sit home and study. Okay, you're going to have to do what you got to do so you can get your house. It depends on how bad you want it. And if you don't want it, don't waste my time. Okay. Now, I was talking about homeownership education a little bit. Okay, there are that's one of the qualifications, one of the criteria that you're going to have to go through is a homeowner education. There are a lot of free HUD-approved organizations that I list in the book. Okay, and these organizations will offer you the course for free. However, they gather a lot of information first before they proceed. They have to make sure that you qualify, that you're a candidate for the program. And I know that you want to ask, why do you need this information? Sometimes they make it a little insulting because a lot of people don't ask questions. But you have to pose that, I don't mean to be rude, but I just like to know, why do you need these, I need to know. And then you find what you do is, one reason why I tell you to ask is because I don't want you giving out your Social Security and your date of birth to everybody that you talk to. Because you are going to have decent credit. Okay, but that varies from organization to organization. Okay, each financial institution has their own qualifying criteria. At one point, I think about maybe 20, 30 years ago, because I've been doing this for like 25 years, well, actually longer than that, but I've been selling houses for 25 years. Before that, I was in the property management, okay? So now I'm back in the property management and selling houses, and I've learned a whole lot of other facets of real estate that they're involved in, that I'm studying about, okay? Now, I done got up to, okay, so now, you don't want to give your Social Security number and your date of birth out to everybody you talk to. You go to ABC Housing Counseling Agency and they say, okay, yes, we offer this and that and the other. Let me get some information so we can enroll you. Well, I'd like to get some information first. What do you offer? Can you tell me a little bit about how the course is designed? You have any information that I can read before I give you my information to make a decision? You know what I'm saying? And they want to make their money because they're getting paid for giving you that. So when you give your credit score, your date of birth and your Social Security number out, every time you give it out, especially for a mortgage, it drops like 13 points. It drops at least 10 and more. That when you apply for a mortgage, your credit score drops faster or for more points than it does if you apply for a credit card. Now, I don't know why, but it does. Okay? And so you want to be careful because, like I said, you're going to have decent credit. Okay? Cut. You're going to have decent credit, okay? And if you go into one of them, and you run to 5 of them, your credit score will be poor. and then you won't qualify. Now you're going to have to build your score up, and that may take longer to do. Okay, so you want to be careful about giving out your Social Security number and your date of birth, and I will emphasize that as many times because a lot of people don't know about that. And you do have to have decent credit. However, you can possibly purchase a home with an income of just being on Social Security. You can possibly purchase a home being Social Security disability. Okay, I don't think that welfare will qualify you. Okay, that's sort of temporary. That's not a permanent thing. Definitely, you got your section. You have to have your Section 8 voucher too. Okay, but you can be on, because the Section 8 is what's going to reduce the rent, and then you pay a percentage of that mortgage because you're going to have a Section 8 homeownership voucher. Okay, now not a lot of people are familiar with the program, and not a lot of organizations participate in it, except for one reason or another. It's, you know, they just want to be in property management, they just want to collect the money for the rent, and that's that. Okay, so don't get upset when you talk to somebody about it after you get a copy of the book and you say, well, you don't know nothing about it, you know, because not everybody does. And not everybody is participating in it, not everybody wants to participate in it, you know, for one reason or another, okay? So now, after the education, okay, you get your home education, okay, and we're skimming through this because when you get the book is going to give you the details, okay, of what you need to do, of how it actually works. Okay, now you're going to need to talk to a housing counselor. And I have a phone number in here. Now, if you want advice on buying a home, renting, default, foreclosure avoidance, credit issues, and reverse mortgages, okay, there are housing counseling agents throughout the country to provide free or low-cost advice. Okay, now foreclosure prevention counseling and homeless counseling services are available free of charge. Okay, however, housing counseling agencies are permitted to charge a reasonable or customary fee for other forms of housing counseling and education services, including pre-purchase, reverse mortgage, rental, and non-delinquency post-purchase counseling services provided current conditions are met. Okay, so this is just the basic. Okay, this is just, you know, the basic stuff, you know, want to give you an idea of what's in the book. Now, there's a difference between the home ownership and the rental voucher, okay? Like I said earlier, the rental voucher basically pays your rent. The home ownership voucher pays your mortgage. Simple as that. They also call it a housing choice voucher, or HCV, okay, which is the rental voucher. Okay, the home ownership voucher is called a Section 8 home ownership voucher. Okay. Section 8 rental voucher is used to subsidize the rent. Okay, home ownership voucher is used to subsidize the mortgage. More and more people, I'm sure, will be getting involved in the program as they become aware of it. Okay, and eligibility requirements for home ownership vouchers. Okay, here we go. First-time homeowner or cooperative member. It means you can buy a co-op. And I'll explain to you what a co-op is later on. No family members has owned or had recent interest in the residence for at least 3 years. In other words, you cannot have owned a home for at least 3 years. Except for cooperative members, no member of the family has any ownership interest in any residential property. In other words, you can't be on the deed with somebody else's house. They live in there, but you don't. Okay, except for cooperative members, a co-op. Okay, no member of the family has any else. I said that. Minimum income requirements, okay, that may have changed since I've written this book. Okay, so that you're going to have to find out what the minimum income requirements are, but in this case, there are more maximums is what you're going to have to be concerned with. Because when you go for a conventional mortgage, a lot of times the minimum income requirements is high. For a conventional mortgage, more than likely you're going to be paying 20%. Okay, with these programs here, you can pay as little as 3% down. But you can also get assistance, down payment and closing cost assistance. Down payment assistance is the down payment that you put on the house to secure the contract. The closing cost is what you pay when you're ready to get the keys to your house. And all of this is going to be explained to you right in the book, okay? I'm going to be offering some webinars, so you can notify me in the, right below the YouTube video if you'd like, and we can keep in touch that way. You can email me. I can give you my email. It'll be right on the screen here. And that's where we can keep in contact. Now, at the time when I wrote this book, the minimum requirements, I'm not even going to go into that because those numbers are not important right now. But like I said, you can be on Social Security. Okay, and that Social Security benefit for an individual living alone multiplied by 12. And that will be the income that will be used to qualify you. Okay, you'll be more concerned with income maximums than you will be with income minimums. Okay, there are minimums, however, because you can't be making nothing like you can be in some Section 8 houses where they have a combination of tax credits and other things like that. And the money can come from various sources to pay your rent, and you could be living in there and paying nothing. Your Section 8 homeownership voucher will pay a part of it, and then the other the organizations or subsidies will pay the rest. Okay, unlike this, you have to be making some money, and there are minimums set for that. However, there are also maximums. You can't be making, it depends on where the house is now, what the cost of the house is. Like, for example, in New York City, the houses are more expensive. You can get a house in New York City, $200,000, the same price you can get a house in Western New York for $50,000. Okay, so the income levels will be different. Just like the rent levels are different. In New York City, for example, you might be getting, your rent might be $1,500 for a one-bedroom. And rents seem to be surging at an all-time high. Okay, $1,500 for a one-bedroom. Whereas, that's the case up here in West New York too, but let's say even like $1,800. Okay, and then up here in West New York, you're talking $1,100, $900. Okay, for a one-bedroom. Remember, that's going to be subsidized with your Section 8 homeownership voucher. Okay, and the same thing with a home. A home, and like I said, I just said that, $200,000, you know, and you got places like Connecticut, and then you have other places like Albany, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You got these places where the houses can go skyrocketing. You're talking about $500,000, $200,000 for a two-family house. Okay, in certain areas. Whereas up in Western New York, or even in Philadelphia, for example, you can get houses cheap. You know, maybe even in Ohio, you know. There's houses that are, you know, the same price, the same kind of house you would get for $200,000, $300,000 in the Bronx. Is the same kind of house you can possibly even get out in Pennsylvania or in New York, in Western New York for $20,000, $50,000. I've seen it, honey. I bought a couple of them myself. Okay. So, employment requirements, except in the case of elderly or disabled families, like I said, you can be making Social Security disability as your primary source of income and your only source of income, including with your Section 8, and still possibly qualify. Like I remember I said, I don't qualify you. Okay, and I don't disqualify you. And except in the case, I said that one or more adults in the family who will own the home is currently employed on a full-time basis. Okay, it'd be nice. The husband can be employed. The wife stays home, takes care of the children. Okay, and I don't even know for sure. We have to find out. I can find out if you didn't ask me if you have to be married or if you could just be living together. To both be, but you both, I know you both would have to be on the Section 8 voucher. Okay, so that means that you both would follow the legal requirements. Okay, now there's homeownership counseling that you must involve in. The family must attend and satisfactorily complete the pre-assistance homeownership and homeownership counseling program. Okay, there are grants available, first-time home buyer grants in the form of down payment, closing cost assistance, like I said earlier. There's subsidy mortgages. For example, if your house is $100,000, and there are some houses that are that price in Western New York as well, okay, but there are income maximums and income minimums. If you, based on your income is what you qualify for, the amount of a house that you qualify for. So even if you live in downstate New York, and you're looking at a $300,000 house, and your income, let's say you get Section 8 and you're only on disability, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have to look for another house. Okay, you won't be able to qualify because you won't have enough income. However, your income does qualify you to get a house with the Section 8 homeownership voucher. And I know this can be quite confusing. That's why an educated consumer is my best customer. Okay, there are grants, there are subsidy grants. Subsidy grants reduce the price of the house. But there are stipulations that involve, which means that if you get a house, let's say $100,000, and you get a grant, the grant's not going to be put in your pocket. It's going to go towards the purchase of the house. Let's say $30,000 off the purchase price. So you chop $30,000 off of $100,000, and your mortgage will be based on $70,000. Okay, let's say across the board average, your mortgage will be $700. And I always do 10% of whatever the price is, 700,000, I mean 70,000, 700. Okay, I just take that first number and I just put the 2 zeros behind it. 1,000, I put 100,000, I go 1,000. Okay, that's the way I do it. 500,000, 5,000, you get the picture? Okay, so let's say the 70,000 now, you're across the board, because now the mortgage might be less, but then you have to include escrow. See, this is so comprehensive. It's so exciting to know all of this information, because once you know it, people look at you like, how should you know all of that? But it's better for you to know it, because then you don't fall in the trap. You want this program so bad, and you're willing to just take any house, and you find a house that you want, but when you move into the house and you go through all the paperwork and all the education, you find that it's not the house you want. Don't be overly anxious. As the Bible says, don't be anxious for nothing, but in everything, in prayer and supplication, make your request known unto the Lord. You are going to have to make sure that this is the house for you. That's why Affordable Homes is here to help you. Okay? What did I say? The grant would, let's say, reduce the price of the house, so your mortgage will be based on the lesser amount. The stipulations, I know one of the stipulations is that you have to commit to living in that house for at least 10 years. Or a certain amount of years. I don't know exactly how many. But there was one particular set of grants that was given, and that was the stipulation for those grants, people that were buying those houses. Okay, and this is for first-time home buyers only. Okay, remember you have to basically you cannot not remember the stipulations that I read to you. You cannot have owned a home within the last 3 years, and that would qualify you to be a first-time home buyer. Okay. That would qualify you to be a first-time home buyer. Okay. Now the program is just so comprehensive. It's just wonderful. Like I said, the contents of this book is being provided for informational purposes only. It's not intended to provide legal advice, and should not substitute for the advice of an expert or a real estate attorney. Now, also the links and references and the websites and organizations are provided for informational purposes only. Affordable Homes and Apartments do not endorse the specific organization or website, and does not suggest that one source should be utilized to the exclusion of another, and we cannot guarantee approval, and we don't disapprove you. Okay? Now, Section 8, for those of you who didn't, Section 8 homeownership vouchers are normally used to subsidize the rental housing expense of eligible recipients. Okay, you have to qualify, of course, and as you know, that there's an extensive waiting list. If you wish to purchase your first home and you need help in meeting your monthly and home ownership expenses, there's a program that will help you. It's called the Section 8 Homeownership Voucher Program. Okay, Section 8 Housing Choice Vouchers eligible is based on income, not assets. Okay, so it's possible to own a home and other real estate and still qualify for Section 8. However, income for the purposes of determining Section 8 eligibility must include the income you earn from these assets. The current monthly voucher assistance payments, and like I said, this was the figures at the time I wrote this book. Assistance payments per family ranges anywhere from $8 to as high as $2,446, depending on the family income and the location of the home, as I said before. The prices in like one of the major cities like Connecticut, New York, even like Arizona, places like that. And there are certain places in the same state where you have houses that can be priced at $1 million, and then you have on the other side of town, you got houses that you can get for $50,000. So it's just a matter, and just because it's a $50,000 house or even a $30,000 house, that don't mean that it's any less of a house. Because I've seen nice, beautiful, big houses, 2,000 square feet houses for like $150,000. Okay, basement, attic, 2,000 square feet is a lot of space. And then another area, you got 2,000 square feet for $300,000. And it don't look no different. It ain't no more modern, and it needs the same kind of work. It's just in a different neighborhood. Okay, and there's statistics and facts based on why those houses are more expensive in that area as opposed to in this area here. Okay, there's statistics and there are reasons for that, and you can look all of that up too. Okay, it's not just because somebody decided it was going to charge. There are reasons why the houses cost more, and then you have to also remember the taxes. Taxes have to be paid. Okay, if taxes are not paid, the mortgage company is going to pay the taxes. Why? The mortgage that you have on the property is first position. In other words, mortgage gets paid before anything else defaults. Nothing else defaults, mortgage gets paid. If anything else gets behind, mortgage gets paid. Okay? Taxes are second in line. And that's what I mean. If you don't pay the taxes, the mortgage company pays the taxes, and in some cases, you'll be responsible for the mortgage to pay the taxes back to the mortgage company at an increase. Okay, so let's say your taxes are $1,000 a year, and you don't pay your taxes, the mortgage company will pay your taxes, but you may have to pay the mortgage company $2,000 instead of $1,000. So that's going to put you in jeopardy. And then all the mortgage company has to do is just foreclose on you and then resell it to an eligible buyer. Okay, they're selling it for less, but all they're doing is getting the money that's left over from the mortgage. So let's say you've been living there for about 3-4 years. You may have only been paying on interest alone. And see, these are things that you will learn when you look at my videos and you get a copy of my book, and there are other books out there that you can look at, and you go to the housing counseling, you go to the, all of these organizations that are going to help you get your voucher. Okay, and you will get your education that you need. You have to be willing to go through the process and stick with the process all the way through until you complete and get your voucher. If you give up in the middle, then you've wasted all of our times. And nobody wants their time to be wasted. Time is too valuable. Okay? Section 8 homeownership voucher eligibility is based on income, not assets, like I said before. So it's possible to own a home and other real estate and still qualify. The current monthly mortgage, I said, the statewide average monthly voucher assistance payments is currently, at the time I wrote the book, $725. Although the program is primarily designed for working families, elderly and disabled persons and families also can qualify. Current participants include single and two-parent families, grandparents, and single individuals. Okay, so all of us, any one of us can own a home. You don't have to be married like back in the day. Like my grandmother, bought a house. They said she had to be married in order to get a house. And she had to marry a man that she didn't love, just so she can get a house and fulfill a promise to her sister. Okay, but you can also be a single parent. You can also be single. Okay, you can also be a two-parent family, 2 people, that's it, and get you a house. Now, I've always seen houses, when I first started looking at houses years ago, I've seen houses for like, 3 bedrooms were like the average across the board. 4 bedrooms sometimes seem to be more expensive. Houses with a lot of bathrooms seems to be more expensive because an extra bathroom is a luxury. A nice half a bath downstairs on the first floor, bathroom and a sink, and then maybe even a private bathroom in your room and the master bedroom, and then a bathroom in the hallway for everybody else. And then in the basement you got a toilet and a sink. So you got 3 and a half, actually 2 and 2 half baths. That's a luxury. That kind of situation would be, much more higher. You got 4 bedrooms. That's going to be a little pricier. Depends on the neighborhood and the area that you get it in. 5 bedrooms, maybe more, may not be. But if you don't mind living anywhere, and if you don't mind, you might end up living in an area that they consider the ghetto. But you'll have yourself a house. You have yourself a nice big old roomy. I like a roomy house. I can't have no house where I'm standing here washing dishes and then I turn over here and I'm waiting for the bus. Okay? I can't stand because sometimes if you want to stay home and relax, you can sit home and see the whole house. If you got a small house, and where you gonna go? You be feeling claustrophobia, so you got a basement you can go down to. And chill, you got an attic you can go up to, you got your upstairs, so it gives you a variety of things that you got the backyard, you got the front yard, you got the front porch, you got the back porch, you got so many amenities that you have, you can have guests over and entertain, cook out in the summertime, or if you're living in a southern state where it's warm most of the time, you could cook out most of the year round, you know what I mean, and you could expand your house, and a lot of times some of these houses have a lot of land attached to it. They'll tell you exactly the dimensions of the house, and they'll tell you the dimensions of the lot. And a lot of times the lot size is bigger than the house. So now, minimum income requirements, like I said before, for participants include a stable monthly income. Now remember I said I don't think welfare will cover that because that's usually temporary assistance. That's what they call it. Okay? Stable income such as wages from full-time employment, Social Security is considered permanent. pension is cured, death benefits, VA, veterans. If you're a veteran, I need you to holler at the sister because I'm writing a book on specifically if you're getting HUD Voucher. I got some information for you too, and to tell you about how you can use your HUD Voucher certificate, and then see how well it can work for you in terms of you getting a home of your own. Okay, so I want to ask you to holler at the sister, y'all. Okay, and I've been talking about that was part 2 of qualifying, some of the qualifications and an overview of the Section 8 homeownership voucher. Okay, so my name is Sylvia Black, and I'm the owner of Affordable Homes and Apartments. And you can contact me and get a copy of the book at any one of the websites down at the bottom of the screen that I've been showing you throughout this broadcast. Okay.